Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Revival League Season 2 Open Qualifiers Round 4. My name is Retro, and we have probably the most exciting matchup so far of these Open Qualifiers. It is the penultimate game that we'll be seeing between any of these teams. Well, not any of these teams, but specifically these two teams. As of course, there's only one more round, therefore one more game for either of these teams. It is 5STARS versus Oblivion XC. They are the first place and second place in the standings currently. They have won all of the games that they've played. Obviously, they haven't played against each other yet. So this is going to be an absolute banger of a match, and especially for the fact that we are seeing Villa for the second time so far in these open qualifiers. Although I don't think that we've had it on stream as of yet. I think that the times that we've had that played, which was only once so far in the open qualifiers, was in a game that we didn't stream. So I'm very excited, if not for the fact that I don't have to look at Chalet Clubhouse or Oregon again, which are, I think, the only maps that we've so far had the displeasure of casting on. But now we get onto Villa, and Oblivion XC with the defense first have gotten the bans out of the way. It's Nook and Mira from them, and then followed by Dokebi and Azami from the side of 5STARS. Very, very interesting stuff. I'm very excited about this. Right off the bat, we can talk about what these bans really represent. The Nook can be an absolute menace. She can, go up through basement or go up through any window. Walk up those stairs without ever getting spotted. She doesn't even need to shoot out the camera, so you don't even know that anybody was there for you to even be wary of. And then before you know it, she's all the way up in your sight, and then half your team is dead before you're even aware of it. Mira, just a very standard default ban for this map. She's not necessarily overpowered, although she can make certain sites really, really difficult to attack, which I would say is probably every site, aside from maybe library and living room, which I don't think that we'll be seeing all that much of anyway, but I think that's the only site where she's not, super strong. She can still probably be strong. I don't really know too many setups with her down there, but yeah, just not necessarily overpowered, but she can be really, really strong. And then Dokebi, obviously a killer loadout with the DMR, and then the SMG-12 or the C75, depending on what you want, or the Gaunt 6 if you need an extra projectile to clear some of that utility. And then, of course, she's got the impact EMPs or the smoke grenades, an absolute banger of a loadout. Not to then also mention her gadget, which is really, really good at roam clearing. So right now, this hold that Kami and Envy have on this library side, or on this aviator side, as they are trying to defend the trophy statuary, would be a lot harder to actually achieve if there was a Dokebi constantly calling you, giving out your positions. And then Azami to close it all off. She can, as I say, close off a lot of positions. She can close out a lot of positions, a lot of lines of sight. And if you play that 90 position with Azami, you're basically immovable from there. They're going to have to waste so much utility, so much time trying to clear out of that position and still might fail. Or, might just waste so much time to the point where that's not worth it. But speaking of time wasting, and so far Camille is doing a really, really good job on this aviator side to deny as much of that drone utility as possible, as well as waste as much time as possible. He does have Envy sort of as a follow-up nearby around red stairs, but so far no engagements, although a couple might be coming out as Keppa correctly predicts Envy's peak and does take out Envy. That is the Solus off the board now, signing more of this utility that 5STARS have still at their disposal, will not get to be known about until it's already too late. For example, those Rotero drones are just regular drones. Niana clone coming in that we do see Rush utilizing right now, as well as knowing where exactly those ace charges will get deployed. Can't really shoot them from below without a Solus. And of course, if they try to go for a plant, there will be no denying it from below. But now, 45 seconds left to go. They are flashing on into sight. Selberg coming out with the swing. It's Keppa with the swing, actually, onto Circle. Gets the kill. Zemper is down. Make this a 2v5 now. With only 30 seconds left to go, he will have to go for the res. Makes it back a 3v5. Kami does get the kill onto Keppa, but it's Zef with the follow-up onto Zemper, and now a true 2 versus 4. Make that 1 versus 4. Tiamo does get 1 kill, but the plant is going down. He's not in a position to throw that C4. I don't think he even knows where they are planting. Goes for a Hail Mary one. It will not pick up anybody as they are planting on the other site. And that was in the breaks doorway, so he wouldn't have been able to get the kill with that anyway, as that floor is indestructible. Getting shot from the closet side by the planter of reprints. Luckily, two of the remaining players are on very, very low HP, so he could still win this, especially when he's on full HP, but only if he knows where they are. And unfortunately, despite seeing the head of Rush, he could not get the kill, and it's Rush to pick up the final one and put the round on the board for 5STARS. Now, very, very interesting turn of events. I thought that with how much time they were wasting on that defense, all the way on side of Study and main stairs, I thought, oh, they've got this in the bag. Oblivion have this in the bag. It's going to be a really, really, confident win for them. But then, of course, a couple over peaks here and there from NV, and then the rest of the players just getting swung on. It just didn't work out, and maybe they didn't waste enough time, as they still left them with about 80 or so seconds, which is more than enough in a 5 versus 4 to achieve what they achieved, which is a round win. But they are running it back again from that side of the map. Interestingly enough, they are not choosing the Aviator game site to be their primary, which, teams tend to sort of rotate between which sites they choose to have their primary site. I think kitchen dining is definitely gaining a lot of traction recently, mainly because so many teams aren't used to it being the primary, so they're not really used to attacking it first. And when you don't really know how the team is playing, it's really tough to gauge what they're doing, because like if you attack onto their primary and whether you win or lose, there's still so much information about the way that they're playing, and maybe sometimes without that they just don't know how they're playing if they are going onto a secondary or tertiary site first. I say secondary, tertiary. Obviously, a site pretty much becomes the primary as soon as it's picked onto first, but still the way that they play it might be not quite so primary. Rush is down below inside of kitchen, or it's out of pantry at the moment, but will be pushing into kitchen shortly. Could be going for a couple vertical frag grenades, and those could be trouble for the side of Oblivion if they're not careful. Envy in a very, very aggressive position here, waiting for somebody to peek in from the side of the study balcony as they are droning him out. I do believe that this time he's alone on the side of the map. Last time he had Kami for help, but I do believe Kami is pulled back around 90. Or no, he is below at the moment, hunting Selberg, who seems to be holding onto an angle that Zemper could be walking into. And this is sort of like an all-around hunt, because Zemper could be walking straight into the crosshairs of Rush. And now Selberg, aware of Kami, will be swinging away the other way. Zemper waiting for the push. There goes a kill. Envy with the kill onto Keppa. That's the Nomad off the board. And now this time with the Roam, wasted a lot more time. It's Zemper who's getting impatient. Peeks just a little bit. Escapes with his life just barely. The wall is getting opened up into closet, so they will have a line of sight from there. But of course, that's not enough to get any sort of plant down. Selberg and Zephin to get a kill each, and now this is not looking that great for Oblivion. Once again, in this advantageous position, and with so much time still left for 5STARS to pull off and execute. It could just be done, but Zemper with a nice swing does get the kill onto Zephin. Still with the frag grenades below is Rush. Just narrowly misses the kill onto Zemper. But there goes the push up the stairs from Selberg to finally finish him off. Does a little bit of chip damage, but does pick up the kill anyway onto the other player peeking him. Sirocco making his way all the way inside of the bedroom. Locked up there, and it's Selberg with the final one. 5STARS make 2 rounds so far. This is really not looking good now for Oblivion. It is really not looking good. They've lost their primary site pick twice, and despite getting the first pick this time, they're not able to hold on to the advantage. So before, it's like, okay, they lost that first pick, and then they just kind of kept losing gunfights. But this time, they had that first pick. They'd wasted so much time on the roam, and they still weren't able to capitalize much off of that. And Zemper was getting very, very aggressive down below as well. Luckily, I do believe that was a bit of a combination from, reaction time from Rush, as well as the ping difference. None of these players are playing on, like, super high ping, but any type of ping difference is enough to really be, to really impact the way that a gunfight goes. And I think that that's the only thing that kept Zemper alive in that situation. So he was getting a little bit overzealous, and then again completely unaware of anybody coming up those Astra stairs. I wonder if maybe they should have put some barbed wire down there, or if they had put down some barbed wire, when did that get destroyed? Why wasn't there any barbed wire on it when the player pushed up them? And just losing so many gunfights and losing so many crucial positions really put them on the back foot. They're gonna try it now on Aviator Games, which tends to be an easier site for a lot of teams to defend, but this is one that they really, really have to pick up, because you don't want to be heading into the second half when you're attacking on the back foot. There goes Envy with a nice opening pick. That is the Iana off the board. So the only set of nades that they had in pocket will be gone, and this is a map and site specifically where vertical grenades are key. They could get a lot of kills, they could take a lot of utility off the board, so getting rid of that player early on is definitely very, very huge for them at the moment. The Flores will be taking care of the rest of this utility by himself. However, those repair drones taking care of the top of main shield. And now just hunting any more utility, pushing Sirocco off of his position where he was on the main stairs, and just baiting him to walk into somebody's crosshairs with that window open. Now, he can't really cross upstairs anymore, and he can't cross downstairs. And of course, there's Selberg waiting for him to make the wrong move. Sirocco, a really, really high-value operator right now. There goes Kami with the kill onto Keppa. I'm not really even sure we got that. It's Zemper with the follow-up. And now it's all down to Reaperance and Zephin. Reaperance taking a lot of damage on that study door. It does go down, and there goes the swing from Kami, and they take a flawless round to put themselves on the board, finally. Calling out for a technical pause after the first round that they won so far in this game. And I think that we are definitely out to see a pretty good matchup between these two teams. As I said, I've been saying it for days that, this top half is what I'm really, really excited about. Because it's teams that are really, really good, that play really well against other really good teams. And you just expect them to do really well, for it to be like a really big tug-of-war type thing. And so far, every single time that I've said that, it has not come true. It has not come true. It was always a closeout, 7-1, 7-0, 7-3, 7-2. It was always a closeout. It never got to overtime, and it made me really, really sad. So hopefully 5STARS and Oblivion finally make that true for me here. I love games that go all the way. I love games that get to overtime in the first place. I think that it really shows how well matched teams are. And also, I just think that they're very entertaining to watch. Especially when they're, that sort of back and forth. It's like, you won a round, now we're going to win a round. And then it just kind of keeps on going until round 15. I've said it time and time again, my ideal finish of a game is round 15, like post-plant, 5 seconds left to go, pistol 1v1 gunfight. That is the ideal finisher to any game for me. If I ever get to witness a game get to the wire like that, best believe it will be my best day. And if at any point during this Revival League season there's ever a different caster for the game that I am, not available for, or just am not casting, and they get a game like that, I will be very sad. That will definitely hurt quite a lot. But in any case, Oblivion took a round, let 5STARS know that they are not here to be run over. And now they will be going down into dining room and kitchen as soon as Envy returns. He was having some ping issues, which I did mention. None of these players are playing on too high of a ping. Of course, per league rules, they're not allowed to play with too high of a ping anyway. But they also, none of them are playing with that much of a ping. But still, ping can impact gunfights and can impact the way that you play quite a lot. If you're on the higher end of the, sort of ping, for example, the entire rest of the lobby, or maybe your teammates, they're close to the server, so they have like around 9, 10, and then you're out there with like 50, which is still within the legal parameters of the league. You still have that advantage when you're being aggressive, and that can be a massive, massive impact onto the way that the game ends up turning out. And it goes just the same if you're the one that's at 9 ping and your enemies have 50, then you also have that same advantage of being aggressive and doing the swing. Because of course we all know that Siege is swing or be swung, and ping can make that a much bigger difference between swing or be swung. So, but now going back all the way down into kitchen and dining, which I did say is gaining quite a lot of traction for a lot of teams. I don't think that we really see it as a primary side pick all that much, but we do see it as a secondary, and we definitely see it as a tertiary pick. It's very rare that you'll ever see the living room library as any pick, really. It might just be sort of an off-kilter overtime type thing to really throw off your enemies, but apart from that, you'll very rarely see it come up. And this is a very, very vertical site, as most sites are. That's a pretty decent camera, although I personally would be a little bit annoyed by the foliage. But, each to their own. Valk mains, I respect them. They're a certain breed of human that I, frankly, don't really want to mess with. And here we go. Brava could actually be making a little bit of a, could be upping the interest odds of this game a bit by hacking some of those Valkyrie cameras, or hacking some of those mute jammers, hacking most funnily those my magnets is, of course, then they could end up catching those C4s, of which Oblivion have 3, and they could just happen to be a bit of a problem for Oblivion if they are not careful. But in any case, the Thatcher makes a very quick work of the new jammer on the single pantry wall, allowing the attackers to have a little bit of an insight into that part of the site, cuts off any rotations, and of course makes the defenders a little bit weary. It's Selberg at the bottom of the stairs as the Buck. Usually you see him all the way up top doing the vertical damage, but there goes Envy doing a lot of vertical damage onto his head, onto the other vertical operator, Sirocco, and I do believe Camille both follow up with another. And now it's all down to Reference and Keppa. The good old Thatcher Ace combo. Still have a few of those soft recharges to do a little bit of vertical damage, as they've now lost both of their vertical operators, as well as the Brava, which might have made things a little bit interesting with those clutch drones. But now Sirocco on the hunt to find them, as the rest of the defenders remain downstairs or in sight. Envy with the C4 catches nothing. Zemper has also deployed his, as has Kami, so now all of the C4s are gone. Keppa with the vertical kill onto Envy. Goes for the drop down the hatch. Has some idea that Tiatmo might be where he is, but so far nothing. There goes the peak. Sirocco from the hunt to the kill, and Tiatmo picks up the final one. It's another round on the board for Oblivion, and they equalize the scoreline at 2 apiece. It's gonna be a good one. It's gonna be a good one, ladies and gentlemen. It's definitely looking like a good one, and if I've jinxed myself again, well then, curse me to hell, because I don't know what to do then. At that point, if I can't say anything, then how am I supposed to cast? But in any case, Oblivion put another round on the board. It was nearly a flawless one. It was a much, much better defense than what we saw from them before, wasting quite a lot more time on that roam, as well as getting a lot more aggressive. We saw them be quite passive in the first couple rounds. You know, even Envy, where he died, was the entry pick for 5STARS on the side of Aviator. He still, was peeking onto that door very gingerly, almost as if he didn't know if he should or shouldn't, and it was that uncertainty that got him killed. And so now, being quite a lot more aggressive so far, most of these players, they're saying, we're not gonna let up like that. You want a quick pace gunfight? We're gonna give you a quick pace gunfight. And 5STARS, who were used to Oblivion just sort of laying themselves down and letting themselves be run over, probably got a little bit used to that playstyle, and now that Oblivion has switched it up and picked up the pace, 5STARS might be a little bit stumped, because now they have to think about how to really counter this aggression from there. So far, they're not really going for any direct counters via any changes to their lineup. They're just sticking with what worked, and are hoping that it works again. This time, the front side of main stairs and study is completely vacated, but Tiatmo picks up the kill onto Reaper, and I'm not even sure where or how. That was all the way inside of library. That takes care of their only hard breacher. He does take a little bit of damage, but not before dropping the diffuser for the side of 5STARS, and that was just a swing through the door. That was almost a spawn peek, but not quite, because it wasn't start of the round.
Attackers have recovered their diffuser.
And they're still hunting Tiatmo, I do believe. Or they've just picked up the diffuser and decided to let him go. But without their hard breach, it is going to be a little bit trickier. As I was saying, they've left that side completely vacated. They do have a lot of presence on the red stairs, but is it going to be enough? And it's Envy through the door to take care of Selberg. Will be going for a C4 from below. Will that catch anybody? If it's placed really, really well, he could just be picking up a piece for himself, and a lot of these drones getting shot out. There goes Envy. C4 or not, picks up another. In a significant advantage now, Oblivion, 5 versus 2. Rush and Zephyr trying to pick up something, gets one, nearly gets two, finally. They line up for him and get him the long-awaited 2K. Circle getting a little bit aggressive, nearly losing his life to Zephyr. Frag grenade goes out, will not be catching anybody. Camille still holding atop the red stairs, while Zephyr is still trying to have a gunfight against Sirocco. Flashing out quite a bit. Rush pushes in, gets the kill onto Camille. He's now in a triple. He could be on for an ace right now. If Zephyr doesn't pick up another, they have very limited information, as a lot of those drones got shot out. Unfortunately, Zephyr, with very limited information, had to push in, got shut down, and Sirocco picks up another to put another round on the board for Oblivion, who, for the first time in this matchup so far, take the lead, put themselves up ahead at 3-2, and they're looking really, really strong to win this half and put themselves in quite the advantage on the half switch.
Attackers need to locate and defuse.
I apologize for that. There were some noises going on from outside my window, and I got a little bit concerned about my neighbors, but it is all fine. It is just children playing. This will be a little bit of a boomer moment for me, but why do children play like they're getting murdered every day. It's just constantly screaming. Were we all like that when we were little? I don't remember ever just screaming. I don't remember that ever being a thing, but maybe we all did and we just forget about it, and then we got old and we're like, stop making noise. Anyway, for the final round of this half, we're finally seeing Oblivion take on to Aviator Games.
Attackers are moving out to locate a bomb.
It's going to be an interesting one. I think this will be a really... It's not finally. They've already played it. But the last time, it was sort of the first moment that we saw from Oblivion where they were completely switched up on what they were doing, completely switched up on the pacing that they wanted to go with, completely switched up on how they wanted to roam, a lot more aggressive, a lot more active, and it got them a flawless round. So I wonder if now 5STARS, with all of that knowledge and with having lost the consecutive 3 rounds, including that one, can they make it happen here and now? Did they read that defense well enough to be able to pull something off here? I don't know. We'll have to find out. But there goes Keppa with the first kill onto Envy. That's the, oh my god, all of those magnets gone with him. Kami, the only one left playing on this side of Trophy and Statuary now, completely alone. Destroying a lot of the utility and pushing him out of those positions and out of his comfort zone. He will be dropping down the banister down to red stairs and will be going back up. Tiamo could be getting a really nice kill here from below, but unfortunately he misses. He finally gets it. Of course, it's the Solus that can spot out all of that drone utility, any type of electronic utility that you might have at your disposal, and of course, she can see you when you are on cams, which is exactly what happened to Rush. He was standing on the soft surface while he was droning. Solus saw him from below, got the kill, although it took a minute. I'll say it took a minute for Tiamo to actually connect, but once he did, it was all over. Now, the wall getting open, Zephan reading Tiamo really perfectly as he tried to rotate around through library sites. Rokov holding a tight angle onto the 90 window, waiting for somebody to jump in there or to just show their face around that corner. But despite losing 2 people in the room, they wasted quite a lot of time. This is the least amount of time that 5STARS have had so far after clearing out the roamers, and it could be a little bit problematic, although Kami is sort of tied up in a 2-way cross angle, whips just a little bit onto Keppa, and now he's pretty much locked up. It's a swing all the way from red stairs from Selberg that takes his life, and now in a 2 versus 4, a way worse numbers game for the side of Sirocco and Zemper to try and hold on to this round, using a lot of these smokes to try and deny as much of a push as possible. Zemper does pick up 1 kill. Trying to plant in the smoke is Reaperance. He will get the plant down. Zephan picks up 1. Sirocco with the trade. He just needs to kill the planter. Unfortunately, can't kill him in time. Selberg gets TK'd by Reference, and now it's all down to a 1v1 post plant. Sirocco on a much lower HP than Reference. Reference does make his way all the way down to main stairs, and now it's going to be a lot worse for Sirocco. He will try and stick the plant. Reference is nearby. He sticks off of it, and Reference is there to pick up the frag. 5STARS managed to equalize the score count again, putting themselves and Oblivion at 3 apiece as we head on into round 7 with the side switch. I mean, did I say or did I not say that this is going to be a good one? It's a very, very nice back and forth, and if only we could get a just as nice of a back and forth here on out for the rest of this matchup, it will be a good one. And I think that what this is showing is, I was wondering what the actual statistics are so far of the Villa map. I think since we've only had it once so far in the qualifying, it's tough to tell. Really, you know, currently I think it's something around 60-30. That doesn't add up to 100, does it? It's like 66, I guess, and 33, whatever. Maybe more, maybe less. I'm not really sure. I think it's something around there. for
Location of a
the,
bomb.
for the side of the defense on Villa. But of course, that was only one game, and it's
10
really tough
seconds
to tell how that really reflects the map. And I think that this is a really good game
5 seconds
to skew those statistics a little bit and showcase that this is not all that much of a
Attackers'
defender-sided
objective
map
is to defuse
because
a bomb.
Oblivion, or because 5 stars, apologize, were able to get 3 attacking rounds, and only one of them was really close. But now, Oblivion are tasked with having to attack, and they are doing a completely different approach to what 5 stars were doing. They're bringing 2 sets of grenades and attacking the Aviator and game site. Reaper and Silver get pushed off from that shield by the floors. The floors, of course, a must bring. Usually you will see the Azami and the floors be sort of a tandem ban. If one of them gets banned, the other one gets banned as well. Or rather, floors gets banned, Azami is 100% out. But of course, a lot of the times, if floors is let by, either Azami will be let through as well, or she will not be. Envy with a nice peek already inside of Study does pick up one, but it's Zeph, and immediately with the trade as Envy was pretty much stuck in that little corner of the room. There wasn't much he could do. But that was quite a high value frag from both sides. Sirocco with the follow-up and the trade onto Zephin. Kami taking a little bit of damage to the walls. Down at a frost trap is Zemper, Reprince, and Selberg both pick up a piece. Sirocco down next, and now all of a sudden it's all down to Kami. He picks up one, still has 2 to pick up. Diffuser called on the ground. 90 seconds left to go. He still has 2 frag grenades in pocket. This is doable, but of course both of the defenders are holding on to that diffuser with their lives and will not be letting him get away with it. Easily throwing 1 grenade onto the stairs. Doesn't catch anybody. This one will miss. So far didn't take the diffuser, but allowed both Reprince and Selberg to make their way all the way back into sight. If he could avoid dying to this really long angle that Selberg has set up for him, he could maybe do something, but unfortunately Selberg will have that long angle set up and will get the kill and will win the first defensive round for 5 stars. Now, of course, that was their primary pick, so Oblivion still have quite a few chances to get the round win or to get the game win despite that, but quite a long road ahead of them to actually achieve that. Switching on to the trophy and statuary are 5 stars to try and defend that site. It didn't work out for Oblivion all that well. They lost it twice, won it once. Yeah, they won it once. And it was down to a really, really good setup. They completely gave away the study and, what's it called? Aviator side. Meanwhile, holding on top of the red stairs and just forcing 5 stars to push into them. Unfortunately, that got way closer than it should have, and they nearly lost the round. 2 drones right on top of Rush, and he has no idea. That's a pretty good drone spot as well, and well, they're gonna be aware of where those pests are, so Rush will have a harder time of actually getting any drones into those pests and using them against the attackers, which of course is not really your main goal as Muzzy. Your main goal is really to deny as much of that intel as possible, and whether that is by shooting the drones or by hacking them and then them getting shot anyway, is pretty irrelevant. But
located a bomb.
Did that? Oh yeah, that was Zephin with a really far and away angle to shoot that Rotero drone. Here comes a Twitch drone, trying to hunt down those evil eyes from Reprints, or trying to hunt down some other utility they may have in place, like those ghoul mines from Keppa or Selberg's alibi clones, Prismas, however you want to call them. Reprints holding on to one of the most important positions for this defense on top of that shield. Rush below, denying any frag grenades from below, but there goes Envy with the straight swing to get the kill. Zephon with the follow-up. Tiatmo and Zemper pick up a one apiece. Rush finally with the trade. 5STARS now in a bad position as the plant is going down. Rush doesn't have a C4 anymore. Keppa still has those impact grenades. Can't pick up the kill onto the planter or anybody else. Doesn't even do a lick of damage, and now having to push up these red stairs. Will get shot down by Zemper. It's all down to Rush on top of the Astra stairs to try and win a gunfight against 3 of these players and get the diffuser disabled before the time runs out. It's quite a big feat for him to try and actually achieve. The player playing inside a bathroom will not be peeking. The rest of the players will be peeking a little bit. Just toying with him right now. Gets the swing, gets one, but there's Tiatmo with the follow-up, and Oblivion equalize it once again. It's 4-4, and I am so happy that this is the game that we are getting. You know, a lot of the times after the games end up sort of like 7-1, 7-2, something like that, you know, we'll have a conversation. It's like, wow, those were really poorly picked games. And it's not like we do it on purpose. It's just that, you know, the games are picked and you think, oh, this is going to be a super interesting matchup. I mean, I've been saying it for a week that these top half teams should be giving us a really, really good matchup, and then they just aren't. And then I'm left looking foolish. But then, you know, this game was picked, 5STARS versus Oblivion. I dipped it immediately. I wanted to cast this game. I thought it was going to be a really, really good game. Regardless of the map that we end up on, I thought it was going to be a really, really good game. Really interesting one to play. Or to watch. Seeing as it's the first and second team placed. So I was like, oh, this has got to be a banger of a match. And, you know, with that initial, you know, 2-0, I was getting a little bit worried. But Oblivion brought it back, and they keep bringing it back, and they are still in this game. And that is what you love to see. But Selberg playing Capcan with no Brava on the board for Oblivion could be a bit of trouble, especially in tandem with the Frost as well, which had already come to hurt Oblivion in the past. Could just be a bit of a problem, but luckily they have a Twitch to deal with some of these traps, and now they are aware that they are there, so they could be looking out for them. But of course, oh wow, Zemper doing a perfect job of playing Twitch, of getting a lot of that, utility taken away from where it was. Is that the wall upstairs electrified? Or am I tripping? Yeah, that's the upstairs wall being electrified, as well as the pantry wall that Sirocco is currently situated on, and having a little bit of an engagement here against Reapers, who I don't think is aware of his positioning at the moment. He will be pulling back a little bit, although leaves himself completely exposed. He could have totally died there had Sirocco peeked, but there goes the peek instead from Kami all the way instead of Memo. How did he get there? A grenade from above from Selberg to try and make a vertical angle onto the attackers inside of Memo. He does pick up one from there. Reapers with another. Kami did pick up one in the meantime. 2 versus 3 for the attackers. The Sirocco knows that he's about to get swung on from the other side. He predicted it. There goes a little bit of a breach coming out from Envy. The diffuser's cold on the ground. I'm not really sure where it is. Sirocco having to come up the pantry stairs again as Envy now stands inside of sight, but not able to do anything as the diffuser unfortunately is lost all the way inside of jail, which means that both of these attackers will have to push straight into these defenders if they want to retrieve the diffuser, which might not work out for them. But this is a good start as Envy does take out Selberg. Sirocco taking a little bit of damage in another engagement against Reapers. Reapers taking a little bit of damage as well. So far, Oblivion are looking worse for wear as far as damage goes, or as far as HP goes, rather. Kappa holding on to a really long angle, does a little bit of damage onto Sirocco. Unfortunately, not enough to pick up the kill. Envy predicts that he's going to be rotating into Memo, but Kappa predicts him just as well. Sirocco does pick up the kill finally onto Kappa. Now it's all down to Sirocco to try and get the final kill onto Reapers. And it's Reapers with the shotgun and the swing against Sirocco on very low HP to get the round win for 5STARS. And now we are looking into round 10. This will either make it match point for 5 stars, or we will equalize again for Oblivion, and we'll be seeing at minimum all 12 rounds of regulation. But the way that these teams have been playing against each other so far, I wouldn't put it past them to push it all the way into overtime. Now, I might have jinxed it right there, but I've been talking about how this is going to be a good match and how it's going to be a wild one and it's going to be a back and forth tug of war this entire time. And so far, it has rung true. Has the caster curse evaded me for today, or have I teased the gods of the universe? I don't know. Have I teased the whichever gods grant me the power to curse teams a little bit too much today by talking about how this is going to be a good match, and now they're saying, nah, you're not getting none of that. But in all honesty, even if this does end up being a 7-5 closeout for either of these teams, I will be very, very happy with what we have been given so far. And regardless of whether it goes to overtime or not, it will definitely be one of the better matches that we've seen on stream so far in these open qualifiers. So, without any further ado, let's get into dismantling what Oblivion's attack will be once again on the Aviator game side. They did quite a good job trying to get in there last time. Unfortunately, those frost mats that we see 5 stars bring in again were their downfall. Will they be a little bit more aware of them this time, and will they be able to get the round win off of that, using a lot of these frag grenades from below? Artiamo and Camille, but Keppa and Rush both pick up a piece, and now one set of those frag grenades is gone, and all of the Rotero drones are gone as well. Zeppin with the kill onto Sirocco. There goes any more vertical damage that could have been done from the Buck. And now it's all down to Camille and Zemper, the Twitch and the Sledge. Very unlikely operators, and not ones that you really want to have in a 2 versus 5 clutch. It's all down to Zemper as Rush does take out Camille. Zemper with the kill onto Selberg. Does deny the flawless round, but can he deny the round win as well is the question. Full HP and only 2 smokes in pocket with that F2. Having to try and do anything against 4 full HP defenders and an SAS shotgun at the top of the main stairs. There's only so much he could do, and unfortunately survive wasn't one of those. And regardless, we will be seeing all 12 rounds of regulation just because... Wait, no, will we? No, we won't. I can't do math. I think this is something that people really need to realize, is that I cannot do math. This is round 11. Yeah, we will not be seeing all 12 rounds of regulation if 5 stars win. But Oblivion could still pull it off, especially as they're going back to Trophy and Statuary, which
Attackers need to locate
Oblivion did a really, really good job of holding on to last time that they were attacking go through here. So we're going to have to see if they could pull it off again. I apologize for yawning. I don't know what's coming over me. I'm not bored in the slightest. I'm not all that sleepy. This is my body's natural reaction to, I don't know, a pulse maybe? I don't know. But the pulse could be a little bit of fun. To be fair, from 5 stars, as of course, we have seen Oblivion try and do vertical damage every single time so far.
10 seconds remaining.
And that pulse be the death of them. Of course, they had the Solus last time. The Solus was not able to deny anything from below, and they sort of plant this. Of course, the Solus was dead by that point, or that might have been Oblivion on their final defense. Rounds of mixed together at this point. I don't know what happened when, and again, I'm not keeping really my notes during these qualifiers, so it's tough to really know what's happening when, but regardless of all of that, the round is well and underway. Zemper's drone walks straight past Selberg to try and take out as much of this utility as possible on end around site. Keppa with a very, very long angle all the way from its sub-study onto the window to try and get a kill that way. Clearing quite a lot of this utility right now is Zemper. Rush and Selberg both still below. Zevin trying to challenge from the bricks door. Twitch drone still just making its way through the site. Fortunately, will get shot out before it can do any more damage. And now with both of those drones eliminated, it's going to be a little bit tougher for Zebra to have more of an impact. But they still have impact EMPs in the pocket of Envy, as well as a couple of those terror drones. They still have a couple of those grenades. Actually, they have all of those grenades still at their disposal. There goes a jump in through the wolf window, and despite the smoke, they just rush in. There goes a 3K for Envy, but the pulse below, it's all down to him. He could just get the kill into the planter here, but even if he does, not going to be enough. He does see the planter, unfortunately, from where he is not able to get the kill.
Attackers are activating the bomb.
There goes the kill onto the planter, but only after the fact. And this will be definitely one of the craziest clutches I've ever seen if Rush is able to pull this off. But with so many vertical angles for Oblivion to hold on to, I don't know if this is exactly going to be doable. Envy holding an angle if he tries to maybe push up the Astra stairs. Tiamo is there to deny the push up red. And Kami is just waiting for him to try and do anything. Frag grenades are going to start flying down from the ceiling like rain. There goes the drop down to the red stairs, and Rush isn't expecting it at all, but gets the kill anyway. Makes this a 1 versus 2, but there's not enough time. Even if he gets all of the kills to win this round, he could have gotten the final one there onto the Lion, but unfortunately there's not enough. And Oblivion keep themselves alive for a little bit longer, ensure that we will be seeing all 12 rounds of regulation, and put us just a step away from seeing overtime. Get excited, people. This is exciting times. This is the first time that we might see overtime so far at all in these open qualifiers. There have been a couple overtime games sort of in general, but we never got to see those on stream. We never got to cast those. We never got to see those. We never got to experience those. It has been very, very boring 7-1, 7-2, 7-0 closeouts from all of these teams against all of these teams. I am frankly sick of it, especially because all of those games have been on Chalet. So, finally, we get a good, interesting map. We get a good, interesting matchup, and I want to see some action. Oblivion in the potentially final round of this game will be having to attack onto the kitchen dining site again. Last time that they were attacking onto it, they were not able to hold onto it as the diffuser got lost inside of jail, and then it was all down to Sirocco with the buck against Reapers with the shotgun of the Frost. Couldn't do enough. Can they do it this time? Sirocco bringing the Amaru. I'm a little bit concerned about that because I don't know what's going to come of it. What window is he going to come in through? What is the game plan? I wonder. Again, trap ops will be causing a bit of an issue for Oblivion here, especially as those drones are getting shot out before they can really even do any damage to those traps. So that will definitely be quite a big distraction for Oblivion as they're trying to push into sight. You know, it's like, is there a Kafka trap on this door? Let me check. And while you're checking, you get shut down. There goes Reapers with the opening pick onto Tiamo. Down goes the Ash. A couple of those frag grenades deploying onto the door from the side of Kami. Sirocco in basement, which is a completely unlikely place for you to spot out on Amaru. Could be trying to go in through the hatch into pantry, which is something you almost never see. Or will he be going in through the Astro window? It does look like that will be his game plan. But of course, Selberg is there, and he will have the audio cue of when that glass breaks on the window to be able to swing onto and get that kill. So this is going to be quite a risky play here from Sirocco. Luckily, he does have the LMG in hand rather than the shotgun or the SMG-11, so he should be able to pick up the kill. But Selberg is not the only one there. Keppa is there with the follow-up as well. Rush doing a little bit of damage, but it's Reapers, Keppa, and Selberg both to pick up a piece. Rush with the final one. It's a flawless round to end this game. 5STARS win it 7-5. And can you believe it? We will not be seeing overtime yet again. I mean, I don't think that we ever will at this point. My only hope at this point are the close qualifiers, which I'm hoping and praying go a little bit further. But of course, because the close qualifiers already have a few teams from Relentless League, if you're familiar with the entire situation about that, a few of the Relentless teams have already, been absorbed by Revival League, have already made their way into the close qualifiers, and I have very little information about how those teams play. So it could be that they, are either, way better than a lot of the teams that we've seen so far in here, so they just end up wiping the floor with them, or that they end up that much worse that the teams that qualify from the open qualifiers into the close qualifiers wipe the floor with them, and it could just end up being just another series of 7-1s and 7-2s, which I do not want to see. So I'm hoping that it will be a really, really good matchup, and that these good matchups will not end. And despite not being able to see overtime, and despite Oblivion not being able to pick up the final 2 rounds to make it so, I will say that that was still a pretty fun match. That was still a really fun match to watch. It was still a pretty fun match to cast. And I'm glad that I was able to be here for a game that wasn't played on Chalet and that was played on a fun map between 2 very, very fun teams. And you might be thinking, oh no, Oblivion lost. 5STARS so much better, but you gotta think these are the first and second place teams. These are teams that haven't lost the game yet. Other than Oblivion, they've just lost the game, and I don't think that they've moved far away from where they were just because of the way that the point system works. If you're familiar with the Swiss system, I'm not really. I sort of understand it, but it basically means that the better that you do against good teams, even if you lose, you will still be in a pretty good position. And Oblivion losing to the top place team is, even if they lost it, is still a really, really good thing for them, especially when they got 5 rounds under their belt and could have gotten more. So that is really, really, really good job. Really well executed from them. I really don't know who to give an MVP to for that game. I just don't know. I feel like there really wasn't anybody super standout on the side of 5STARS. Who had the most kills? Was it Reprints? Oh, Silver. Okay. Well, I think, for once, usually I try to, make it a little bit spicy, try to go for somebody that I noticed was doing really, really well, or somebody that was, got the plants down a lot. I know that decision upset a lot of people back in last season's finals, where I gave MVP to the person that didn't really get all that many kills, but planted every single round. I think that was a 7-0 win, and in all of the 6 attacking rounds, that person got the plant down. So, I had to reward that. That, playing the objective to that extent, to where you were bringing the diffuser every single time. I do believe they were playing floors as well, so a very high-value operator, then getting plant down. I can't not reward that. But this time, there really wasn't that much happening for either side. It mostly came down to kills. And I think that for once I will make an exception and just give it to whoever had the most kills, and give it to Selberg. But as I said yesterday, a lot of these players, if not all of them, will have so many more chances to get MVPs, as I have no doubt that they will be qualifying from the close qualifiers into either the Premier League or the Alpha League. So we'll be seeing them tons throughout season 2. So I have no doubt that a lot of these players will have a chance to pick up that MVP title and, brag about it for a little bit. But that concludes this game. That was 5STARS versus Oblivion. And we have a really, really interesting one coming up in about an hour and a half. It will be Rebuild versus Sakudo. Sakudo. That is a really tough name to pronounce. I apologize to all the players of Sakudo. It will be Rebuild, previously known as Retired for a Reason, if you maybe know those players and want to see them and are wondering who are Rebuild. I've been watching your stream. I don't know who they are. It is Retired for a Reason. They have been merged into Rebuild. So it'll be a lot of those players against Sakudo Esports. And I will not be the one casting. I know, big shock. I did say yesterday, if you were here in the stream, that I will not be casting today's games. I was not supposed to. I picked up this game anyway. I fought tooth and nail against everybody else to get this game. I wanted the 5 Stars Oblivion game so badly. Some bloodshed may have been, present in the battle, but we don't need to talk about that really. It's not that important right now. I think I'm hearing sirens, so I better wrap this up. Anyway, I will not be casting the next game. It will be Blazin. He is a brand new caster here for Revival League, so please stay tuned and go watch him cast and give him some support, give him some love. Thank you all for watching, and stay tuned. We'll be back.